Can anybody see me? I seem to have frozen. Give me a thumbs up if you can hear me. Can you give me a thumbs up, Jackie, if you can hear me? I seem to have frozen on my screen. Hello. All right, I'm just gonna jump out on my iPad and try again. Okay, sorry everybody, I'm just, okay. I can see movement. Let me know if you can hear me. Give me a thumbs up if you can hear what I'm saying. That would be great. There is a bit of a delay, so yes, excellent. Thank you. Well, Happy New Year, everybody. I am a little bit early, but everybody can catch up. Welcome to 2023. If you haven't met me before, virtually or in person, I think most of it you will be virtually. I'm Naomi. I'm one of Natalie's brand ambassadors. And I do realize that we do need to update, or I need to print out an updated sheet, because we now have the lovely Jackie on board with us. So Natalie May Scrapbooking, proud to be an ambassador for her. Of course, the website is www.nataliemay.com.au. And if you haven't already, join us on our Facebook Scrapbooking Creative Community. And then you can follow all of us on Instagram. And that's the links just there for Natalie, myself, and Linda. And we will add Jackie on. So I thought I would recreate a page that I did late last week. I had quite a few questions, and I'm just going to pull the page up. I had quite a few questions about how I did the background for this page. So I'm going to recreate this page on a tag, so a smaller version, and I'm going to do it in a few different ways with a few different techniques tonight. So this one obviously is in a big journal, and just in terms of keeping it shorter, feel free to use these techniques in a big journal, but I'm just going to do it on a tag tonight for time purposes. So this stencil, if you want to order it, it is out of stock at the moment with Natalie, but it is the Dina Wakley's Connected Dots. Oh, am I frozen again? I can still see myself moving. So is anyone else, am I frozen for anybody else? No? If I'm frozen for anybody, just close down your Facebook and open it back up. If you're on an iPad, flick it up so the whole thing closes. It just happened to me, so I had to do it myself. So if you've just joined us, I'm going to recreate this page on a tag, well, a version of the background, I should say, on a tag, and I'm going to do it in a few different ways. So it is using the Connected Dots Dina Wakley stencil, but I'm going to use a few others as well from Dina Wakley and also from Natalie May Scrapbooking. Oh, thanks, Queenie and Shirley. Excellent. So, all right, I will get into it. So let me just pop that on the floor. Now, I will have a question for people crafting. My crafty people, I'm going to ask the Brains Trust a question later on. Hello, Kelly. Hi, Kerry Ann. All right, so a few things that I have planned to use tonight. I'm going to pull the products out first. Whether I use them or not is a different story, but I did have a little plan. So I'm going to use some of the Art by Marlene tags. I'm not sure that Natalie has any of these in because they sold out super quick. But if you've got them, make sure you use them. They're awesome. They're really thick. The other one that I use all the time is the Dina Wakley tags or the Natalie May scrapbooking tags. So any of those will do. I find that these are so thick that I don't need to gesso. So I am going to use these tonight because I don't want to have to wait for paint to dry. And I'll probably end up doing probably 4. We'll see how we go. So this is the funky one, which I've been using a bit, and this is my newer one, which I haven't used yet, is the funny. So you get 21 of those, and as I said, they're 450 GSM, so they're super thick. So using those definitely. I'm going to use my Paper Artsy Minis. I just love these stamps. Natalie has heaps of them, and I keep them in their little containers like this, just because they're easy to grab. And I've obviously done them backwards. I'm sure I've definitely got more, but I can't find them at the moment. Okay, so I'm going to use a bit of the mini stamps. I do have some more after of the larger sets of stamps, so I'll try those as well. And if I miss any questions, just come back and say them again. I'm also going to use some of my Scrap Effects foam stamps. So, and Natalie has these ones in stock. So this is the brick wall stamp. I quite love that one. I used that one the other day on my black and white one. These ones are old, but they're still online. I'm not sure what they're called, but if you look up Scrap Effects stamps, they're a few pages in. They've got the alphabet around this one and numbers around this one. And these are great. And I've put a bit of, if you haven't used these sort of stamps before, they come on the hard plastic, and I put a bit of washi tape just so I've got something to hold on to them. And this one's new. I haven't used this one yet, and it's the mini jigsaw puzzle pieces. I was going to cut it up, but they're far enough away that I think I could use them separately if I wanted to. So I'm going to keep them together for now. We'll see how we go with that one. I've got a few stencils, so the connected dots, and I do apologize when I don't have something on here. I will put this over here. There's a bit of a glare from my light, but that was the best I could come up with because I got a new Tim Holtz glass mat for Christmas. Yay, Mum. She got it for me, so that's great. And that's my question I have later when I've run out of things to say. So connected dots stencil from Dina Wakley. If you want to order this one, email Natalie at natmay@adam, I think it is. Another Dina Wakley one, and I've just forgot what it's called. Anyway, that one's on the website. If you look up Dina Wakley stencils, I feel like it's something mosaic. And of course, Natalie May scrapbooking, hand-drawn circles, I think this one is called, and the Alpha. So I'm going to use those as well. I've also grabbed out some collage paper, and I'm just using Natalie May today, but I have got this one, which I haven't used yet, the rainbow paint. So I've got an idea to use these because I've got all the colours and I've only used a few of them, and I've just got offcuts of my other ones. This is probably my favourite Natalie May collage paper. I think it's called Crucifixes or Cross, something like that. My favourite. This is my second piece, and that's all that I've got left. and I can't tell you the name of all of them, but under Natalie May, products by Natalie May, and the collage papers. So I've just got a few here. This is a offcut of one of the girls. If you don't use these pieces, don't throw them away. They're great for backgrounds. And the large handwriting. All right. So first I'm going to start with, and I just ripped, oh, here they are. So I'm going to recreate the same one that I did using some different colors. So I'm going to use, I might mix my paints up and see how I go, but for the purpose of recreating the one I did, I used Dilutions. So I'm using Dilutions paints. Now I'm just going to put, I'm just going to pop this tag over here, just so you don't have the glare. And I'll move, no, that's not going to work. Let me know if it's bothering anyone with that glare, and I can pop my messy mat down instead. All right, so going for my rainbow effect, I'm going to go with Lemon Zest, Pure Sunshine, and I'm not going to, hi Marilyn, I'm not going to use all the colors because I'm working on a small tag. I'm going to go with, nope, I need cut grass for the green, and I'll do a pink and a blue, so I'm going to go with bubblegum pink, hi Diane, and London blue. So if you've just joined us, hi Tracy, I'm just going to recreate one of the pages from the background I did onto a tag. So just going in with a dry brush, and I'm pulling out a brush from my side here. I hope everybody had a lovely Christmas and had some downtime. I unfortunately went straight back to work after my little shutdown, but as of today, I am on 2 weeks holiday. So I'm just trying to find a brush, a smaller brush, because I've been working in my larger journals, so they're buried a bit down further. So I'm going to use my Art by Marlene brush. I love these brushes. And I'm going to do a dry technique. So my question for anyone who has this Tim Holtz glass mat is, how do I put this on, and what do I use it for? Do I use it when it's stuck on? Do I stick it on? Do I use the non-sticky side? Please tell me if you know what I use here, because all I've done so far is take it off and use the white part of my mat. So I would love anyone who's got the mat to tell me what I'm supposed to do with that. So while we're doing that, I'm giving these a bit of a shake, and I'm going to pop, and I'm just using 5 colors today, but I think, and just a little bit, because it's a small tag, I'm thinking I actually might just swap to this tag because it's slightly bigger. So I'm using Dilutions, just plain Dilutions, and so that's Lemon Zest, Pure Sunshine, cut grass. I thought I used a lime, but I must have put it in a safe spot. It's not with my stash, so I must have been using it for something else, and that has gone everywhere. So do we have any? Oh, thanks, Linda. So we have no advice on anyone with what I'm supposed to do with the cover that goes over here on this side of the mat. And I know you can't quite see all my paint on the side there, but in the next bit, I'll go downwards so you can see. I'm not used to having such a big surface. All right. Now, one thing I'm going to do, no, I won't do it on this one. I'll just recreate it the way I did it. So I'm starting with my lightest color, and I'm just brushing it on with a dry brush. And I purposely didn't put much on my glass mat because I know this is a smaller section. Now when I go into my next color, I just start blending it at the side. We want to get rid of that line. It doesn't really matter if you're a bit messy here. Maybe I've gone a little bit, I need some more paint now. I was too light-handed, trying to be good, not waste paint. All right, I'm gonna get a bit more of that and I'll get a bit more yellow. So when you're blending with a dry brush technique, you always come back over the top after with the lighter colors of the blend. So I'm just going to get that on there, and then I'm going to jump into the pink, and I'll start there with the blend. So we have no one that has any advice for me on this glass mat. I better check that I haven't missed any. I might have to ask Nat how I'm supposed to use this cover. Or actually, I might look it up. I'm sure Tim's got some sort of YouTube thing on what he does with his. You can stick it to the top of the white area and use it to blend inks. Ah, okay. Thank you, Mona. Perfect. Now, I do need another colour. I need purple. I need a purple. And I'm going to get... I just realised I needed a bit of a purple here. Yeah, it's a great palette, Linda. I'm constantly just putting my paint straight on there, or my ink straight on there. But, yeah, I will use the mat to blend my inks. I was thinking that, but I just wasn't sure what the purpose of it being there. And I probably could have gone a darker purple there, but, you know, it's here now. We'll commit to it. And then I'm going to move into my blue, which will give me a bit of a purple in that blend. And I'm being a bit messy. I will come back and fix it. Not fix it. No mistakes. We'll just go with it. And green. And you always start with your lighter colors, of course. Now, I'm gonna quickly, I might just wipe my brush off just a little without water, because I want to put yellow on the end and I don't want it to go completely brown with the whole rainbow of colors that I've got here. And I'm just going to pop yellow on the end too. And we'll blend it in there. All right, so good thing about these paints is that has pretty much dried. I'm just going to quickly get a baby wipe and wipe that down, because I like to do both sides of my tags. So I've got them. I need to do Linda's little tag book, that tag holder that she did. I thought that was absolutely fantastic. So I need to do one of those, because I've got mine all on a ring binder, so I can see both sides of them at the moment. All right, so just cleaning that off. All right, so now I'm going to go back in with some of the lighter colours just to give a bit more of a blend. So I'm going to go over the top here with the yellow, and that's got a bit of green in it, but that's okay. Let's just go with it. And I'm just going to go over these side bits here. Good to get back into crafting after the crazy season. I had a bit of a, although I was doing some crafting, I did have a bit of a mental block. I was doing tags and, okay, I'm going to have to wash my brush a little bit. And then I'm going to, so if you do get a bit of a blend with the dry brush technique, you can wash your brush or swap brushes, and then just try and get most of the water out. All right, so that's good. I'll go back to that orange. Ah, oh, bugger. I didn't want that to happen. Baby wipe. Baby wipe fixes it. I just touched the green when I put it into the thing. Oh, thank you, Carrie-Anne. So it's just like my messy mat. Excellent. And I can just peel it off. Perfect. Okay, now I'm going to need some more of that orange. Yeah, I did struggle to get creative, and I was strangely up to date with my Nat May classes. So I found Neve Bailey does every year. She does a Christmas free class, so I jumped on there and followed along with her. Oh, and heat resistant too. Thank you, Carrie-Anne. Who needs Tim? I've got Kerry. Yeah, so I just followed along with her, and that seemed to get me over the hurdle. I think I get a bit of a creative block when I'm trying to do Christmas tags and other Christmas things, and I can't think outside of that box, and it happens to me every Christmas, so I should just do Christmas tags and be done with it. I'm just going over with that bubblegum pink, especially over here, because I was a bit light on with it there. And this doesn't matter too much because we're going to go over the top with our black. And I apologise if you can hear my dog barking. There's something going on with him. He's being funny. He normally does this when there's a storm coming, but we've had beautiful days in Canberra today, actually the last week. So yeah, he's barking for no reason as far as I'm concerned. All right, I'm just going to flick that green in there, brighten that up because it does have a bit of murkiness in there, and I'm going to stop there. There's the background. All right, step one, color your background. So this is, you could do this with, you don't have to do it with rainbow. You can do it with cool colors. You can do it with warm colors. And I am going to do one like that shortly with a different one. But for the purposes of recreating that page layout that I did, we'll keep going with this. Right. The next thing I did, and that's almost dry, I'm just going to leave that, is I did some stamping and I'll use one of my mini stamps here. So I might use, right, so this is one of the mini paper artsies, MN109. Have a look on the website, www.nataliemay.com.au. These are just great little mark making ones. So I'm going to get some of my archival inks, and I've only got a few coloured ones because I don't use them a lot, and I've had them since the dawn of time, so some of them don't even work great. But I'm just going to pull out a blue, a yellow, and a pink. And what I want to do here is do a bit of tone on tone, just put a bit of interest in the background. So you won't be able to see it completely. And one thing about these little guys is I'm going to get a piece of scrap paper. Where's my scrap paper gone? Under my baby wipes. Need to make sure that I've got it up the right way. Now my yellow ink, I know it's got a bit of, I might just clean this a little bit. So did anybody treat themselves to a Natalie May gift card for Christmas, or leave the hint and it was taken up by the correct parties? All right, I'm just going to try that one again. This ink, I reckon, is, it'd have to be, and I've never re-inked it, this yellow. It is Buttercup. I don't even know if they do that color anymore. So I'm just going to stamp the yellow just over the orange and the yellow. And it's just random. I do like to make sure it's up the right way. I'm just going to pop it over there. And that's it for that one. I'm just going to wipe it off with a baby wipe because these are permanent. You bought it, you bought it yourself, Carrie Ann, because the hint didn't work. Well, you know, these are the things we have to do to get what we want, isn't it? All right, and this one is magenta hue. I'm not even sure if these are... I know you can get the little mini archival inks, so which would be much better, but I had these ones, and I'm just going to off... Oh, yep, that one's very juicy, and it's not really being used that much, so I'm just putting a bit of interest, tone on tone, in the background there. And I did do this on my, if you have a look back through the creative community page, I did a big layout with this background technique. And I used, I think it's called On Top of the World, from the lyrics of Shawn Mendes that my toddler is addicted to after watching Lyle Crocodile at the movies. And then I'm using Forget Me Not. So when I did the page previously, I did do this stamping after I'd done the black, and it's not as effective. So I'm learning from my mistake. And I'm just going to pop on a bit of blue, just overlapping into that green. And I'll just bring it up to camera. I'm being so good in cleaning my stamps as I'm going. I really, these minis, I love the writing, but it gets in there. So I really make sure that I try and keep them clean. So that one, again, was, I think it's like a thankful one. I'm thankful for nights that turn into mornings, friends that turned into family, and dreams that turned into reality. Beautiful little quote, but also just love a little stamp with some words on it. Paper Artsy Minis. So they are on their website, and there are heaps of them. If you missed the beginning and I showed what I'm attempting to use, so I'm just going to bring this up to camera and just show you the tone on tone, and I'll just make sure we can see. No, wait for my light to hit. Sorry, I'm trying to work out where it is. There's a bit of a delay. Oh, this way. I'm still learning how to use the camera. So there we go. So that won't take long to dry either. Yep, that's all good. I'm just going to literally hit it for 2 seconds with the heat gun. Just because that archival ink, it's permanent and it can be a bit deceptive if it is dry or not. So, okay, so now all we do, so we've got our colour on, and again, I didn't use gesso for this tag, the Art by Marlene tags. We've done our acrylic paint, and we've done our stamping over the top there. And now I'm just popping over my stencil. So this is going to be heaps easier than when I did it on my journal, because I'm not going to go and have to move it 5 times. Before I do that, I'm just going to wipe up this extra paint that I've got here. So if anyone got the Art by Marlene calendar, not last year, the year before, I had pulled apart my little thing in there, and I just use it and make mini pages, but I use my excess paint. And I have an old Raiders football card, because we get Raiders memberships every year with my son's football. So I'm just going to swipe a bit of that on. And I will use that for a mini page another time. So I have a good little stash of old credit cards and Raiders cards mostly for that. All right, so now I'm just going to use, now you can use a blending tool for this. I'm going to use a sponge. I have a little stash that I just have to find. Just an old makeup sponge. And would you know it, but I must have cut down to the... Yep, I'll have to get a new one. Oh no, here's one. All right, so you can use gesso, black gesso. This is the end of a makeup sponge that I had left lying around, and I just let them dry and trim off the end. They're $2 for a pack of like 100 or something at Kmart, so I just use those. Blending tools work good if you want a bit of a bigger handle. For the purposes of this one, depending on what look you want, you can use black. I actually might use my black, since I'm with Dilutions at the moment. I'm going to use my black Dilutions, but I only have the marble, so sorry, the black marble, but I have the shimmer paint, so I'm going to put a shimmer black over it, which I think will be nice as well. So if you don't have the Dilutions paints, they have a ball in the bottom of them, just to, you can hear it as I'm shaking. It helps mix them around a bit, so make sure that you do that with your, and it's with the shimmer or the standard. So my hands are going to get filthy here, but that's okay. So I don't want too much paint on, so I'm just off dabbing and then holding my stencil in place. You could tape it down, but I'm okay. I'll just go with what it is. And it's as simple as just going around and filling that in. Now I am going to do another tag, and I'm going to do the opposite. I always like to swap around what I'm doing with my stencils. So I have the one where I put the paint through the stencil, and then I have the technique where you pull the paint away from the stencil with a baby wipe. So I will do that shortly on my next tag. And then we're going to look at doing some stenciling with some collage papers. I might actually do the collage papers next so they can have a chance to dry before I do the next one. And I will try and keep my time under 90 minutes today. So thank you for joining me. If you've just joined, we're recreating a background I did on a page recently. That's on the Natalie May Scrapbooking Creative Community Facebook page, and also on my Instagram and Facebook page under Tokyo Creations. So I'm just showing how we created, or I created, that background. It's nothing new, but sometimes you see something and you just can't work out how someone's done that. Now this has got a nice shimmer because I'm using the shimmer paint. It's got a lovely shimmer, so I'm happy with that coverage. So now I'm just gonna lift it up, and there we have the background. So I'm just going to clean that off with a baby wipe, because as these acrylic paints dry so quickly and black really gets in there, I'm just gonna give it a nice quick clean, and then I'll go and soak it later. All right, do we have any questions that I've missed? I need a Brave membership too, do I, Kerry? I do like going to the ice hockey, but I took my son to see the Mighty Ducks when we went to America in 2014, and he fell asleep. But now he's old enough, and now I've got a toddler. So you know, this is why I create at night, because he's in bed. All right, so to finish this off, these mats are super easy to clean, like awesome. And the fact that I've just got one big mat, I love it. Okay, so this is quite dark, and what we need to do is bring in some white into this. So my other page, what I did was I put, the writing was white, and I haven't even thought about what I can use as a focal point here. But because I'm using rainbow stuff and I don't want to lose anything, I will put an Art by Marlene die cut. So I'll find, I've got like a heap of these die cuts from Art by Marlene. And I could pop a bird on there. She's got some, I'll just pop that to the side there. Let's have a look. She's good, but she might be a bit big. This one's pretty cool. Something black and white would have been good too. If I can't find something, I might come back to it. I could pop a couple of these in the circles, but I don't really want to lose the colour. The other thing I could do is just add a quote. Oh, hang on. This could be good. But what am I going to attach it to? It's got nothing attached. Or this. Anyway, I might finish that off camera. The main point was to show you the background, but to bring some white into here, all I would do is grab a white pen, and I've got a Life of Colour. Yep, that one's been activated. So I've just got a Life of Colour fine paint pen. And a very simple, easy way to add your contrasting black and white into your page or your tag is just to outline. And normally I would do this at the end, but because I can't think at the moment what focal point or saying I'm going to put on here, I'm just going to do a few little outlines just to show you how it just brings it all together. And I just wanted to show you some different backgrounds and ideas of backgrounds that you can use for. You can do it in scrapbooking, mixed media scrapbooking. You can do it on tags, on cards, and of course art journals. So look at the difference there. I'll bring it up. Sorry, if that's too glary. But look at the difference there with the white around it compared to where it's not. And it does have a shimmer to it as well. So I'll finish this one off and pop a photo onto the Facebook page in the next few days and show you the finished product. So that's that one. I'll pop that aside. Okay, now I'm going to get another tag. And I'll use this one here. My husband's yelling at my dog because he's barking at nothing. And he knows that I have a sign up on my craft room door because my children, well, my older child tends to just walk in, start talking, and I'm like, mate, I'm on a Facebook Live. So I'm going to stick this one down onto my tag, onto a smaller tag actually, and let it sit aside to dry, because then I'm going to do some stenciling over the top of that one as well. And this is a gorgeous paper, the rainbow paint collage paper from Natalie. And I'm going to do that on this one. And I promised myself I would stop saying and I realised I've been saying a lot more. So what I'm going to do is I'm not going to cover the whole thing, but I'm just going to rip a bit of this. Like so. And I'm going to stick it down with gel medium. Where did I find my... gel medium and my catalyst tool, just so I get a nice even look. I'm going to cut that Natalie May Scrapbooking off the end because I'm going to leave those little bumps out. All right. And I'll cut that off the side later. So nothing perfect here. I'm just going to stick that on right up the seam there. The seam. I feel like I'm sewing. I don't sew. I don't sew. I can't sew. I can't really knit either. So I paper craft. Can't do all the things, can we? Okay, so I'm just popping on a bit of gel medium underneath. And I was just lining that up because I want that to finish at the end there. So a bit of gel medium underneath and then a bit on top. And by using the catalyst tool, I can make it quite a thin layer. I'm not wasting gel medium and I'm not getting any bumps. I'm just doing a little bit at a time. Just making sure I haven't missed any comments. Excuse the arm across the thing. So I'm hoping to get some craft time in my 2-week break. I was meant to, first I took time off to spend time with my 12-year-old so that Dad's had some time off with him and so that he didn't have to sit around the whole school holidays. And then we lost our daycare with a few days notice before Christmas. They told us they didn't have enough staff and they're closing down. So that was fantastic. But we've just got orientation tomorrow and we've just done orientation at a new daycare today, which was lovely and he loves it, my little one. So he'll be going 3 days a week next week, which means I can do stuff with my big boy. And then when he wants to have some downtime on his gaming, I can craft during the day without a toddler. So that's exciting. So I've just gel medium underneath, gel medium on top, and I'm going to pop that aside to dry. I didn't think about this. I used to have a table next to my table that I work on to put things, and I moved it so I have more room in my craft room. So it looks like it's going on the floor. Now I'm going to grab another one just while we're doing gel medium, and I'm going to pop a couple of these different backgrounds, a bit of that one, and I think a bit of this one, or I might even do the whole of this one. I might even do a bit of both. I might use this one. And I'm just going to do a little bit of that as well. Now, I could go over here and then I cut it out with my knife, which I'll do because I really like that one over the top. So starting down the bottom, thin layer and over there. How am I going for time? 43 minutes. Excellent. So who started the new year by cleaning out their craft room or their craft supplies if you don't have a room? I normally do, but I probably will do that in the next week or two because my eldest wants to clean his room out and make it into a bigger boy room with not so much Lego, so I'll be doing that with him as well. My craft room becomes a bit of a Christmas present storage room during November, December, so everything's shoved anywhere it can fit. And now there's space in the cupboard. Kids' rooms are stocked up, but I've got space in my craft room, and that's what matters. Did anybody get into having a fresh start in their craft room for the new year? I know lots of people like to have a big clean out. I didn't even last one day into the new year before I put an order in. I saw some new of Claire's Funky Fossil stuff, Claire Steed's Funky Fossil stuff come in, and I was even too late. Even on the first day, I still missed out on the Love Heart one, but that's okay because I got a few of her beautiful products, which I've had a good play with some of already, and I look forward to playing with some more of them. I love watching Claire's process videos as well. She's talented lady. And I've got a bit of a bubble just here, so I can just push it out with the catalyst tool. All right, so there's that one there, and I will just let that dry as well. So that's enough. Oh, can't wait to see Linda. Funky Fossil bits. And I love that you're playing along with me, listening to me jabber in the background. All right, just got a bit of gel medium on there, so I'm just going to take that off. All right, so now what I'm going to do, and I need to put another, I'll just put the back of this here to cover that glare. I'm going to use this one, and I'm going to do the same technique, but I'm only going to use a few colors, but I'm going to do the opposite. I'm going to use a different, I might use one of Natalie's stencils this time. Natalie's stencils are great for these tags because they literally just fit it. So that's perfect. So I might use one of those. So I'm going to go with my cool colors. No, I'm not. I'm going to go with my warm colors this time because I always use my cool colors. Having two boys, I'm constantly doing scrapbooking pages and pages that are relatively blue in color. So I'm going to use a couple of my warm colors, and I really want to use Cherry Pie in the Delusions colors, but I'm a bit scared to use it. Anyway, all right, I'll go for it. Cherry Pie, that bright red. So I'm going to pop on some Lemon Zest, Pure Sunshine, Squeezed Orange, Bubblegum Pink. Maybe I'll put the Funky Fuchsia on if I fit it, and Cherry Pie. So actually, I'm not going to use that many. I'm going to take away Sunshine, Pure Sunshine, and I'm going to take away Funky Fuchsia. I'm going to go with 4 because I'm not going to do them in the stripe this time. So again, just giving a bit of a shake. I'm going to pop these colors onto this awesome mat. If you don't have this mat, you seriously need to get it. I had a smaller one. I had the something creative, I can't remember what it's called, the smaller glass mat that you can get that Nat sells, and it's great, but I constantly found myself running out of space, particularly when I'm doing a live. You kind of need to have everything in one zone so you can get everything on the screen, and I just need to shake that one up. So I am super excited to see that Natalie has the new brand, and I can't remember what it is called, but I have been looking at them for a while, and I'm super excited to see that she's got it come in. Who's going to tell me what the name of it was? Because it's literally just visible something. Oh, Linda, sorry, I missed your question about my leg. Yes, my leg is going really well. For those who don't know, visible image. Thank you, Linda. I broke my leg in October, so I spent 6 weeks at home, working from home and literally not moving far from home. The first 2 or 3, I've just got a bit of dry paint there. And this one I'm just putting in different areas. I'm not doing it in a rainbow like I did before. Yeah, so the first 2 weeks were hell. My muscles ached, my legs ached. The muscle of the leg I'd been hopping on ached because I was now not hopping, I was walking. I literally had to learn to walk again. So I still am not, I've got a special park at work, which was nice. So I don't have to trek it from over at the shops like everybody else does when they park at work. But yeah, I got a special park until February, and I should be going well. I'm going up and down stairs now, so yes, I'm recovering. I did accidentally jump onto a trampoline with my toddler on New Year's Eve. I was only very gentle. He said, "Mummy, will you jump with me?" And I hopped up and started very gently jumping, and then went, "Oh, crap, I had a broken leg 4 weeks ago. I probably shouldn't be doing this," and hopped straight down. But I didn't have any repercussions. So I'm just overlapping these colours, and because I'm using warm colours, they are blending beautifully, but I've got a bit of, like you can see, I've got a bit of the yellow, there's a bit of orange on there, but they blend lovely. I don't need to be careful with making mud. And that pink is super hot. That's why it's called bubblegum pink. And I'm just going to go over here with a bit of the pink. And then I'm going to come in with, now this was the one I'm worried about, the cherry pie. Oh yeah. Oh, it's not too bad. It's more of a lipstick pink than a, yeah. I'm just trying to spread it out a bit, but I didn't leave myself much room. That's okay. And put a little bit up here, and I'll go over the top with back to that one. And now I have a bit of a line here, so I'm going to go over that with some orange because I don't want that, and I'm blending those in there. Might just wipe a bit of that paint off my brush. It won't matter too much because I'm going to go over with a stencil, as we said before. If you're just joining us, just having a bit of a play with some colour and some tags with some stenciling techniques to make some cool backgrounds, which you can do on anything. I'm just going to dip back in with the yellow and add that, blend that over there and over here. And I've still got those colours on my paintbrush, so it's all blending in beautifully. All right, so there's that. I'm just going to tidy up down here a bit because that's it's just a bit streaky. I just didn't want the streaks. And then I'm going to go over the top with my stencil. All right, so there's that. I'll just clean off my mess underneath. And I'm just going to grab my junk journal that I started to use, and I'm just going to quick drink. This is another one I started using, the Art by Marlene Advent Calendar packaging, and I also like to swipe my excess paint off in this as well. So I'm just going to use a old Raiders card, Canberra Raiders card, and I'm just going to swipe that paint on so that it doesn't get wasted. And I've pretty much got a ready-made background, so I'll pop that in on the floor to dry. Don't like to waste paint. Is anybody else crafting along today? I know Linda's using some funky fossil bits and bobs to play with. And I'm just going to dry that off. All right, so now I'm going to use the baby wipe technique to wipe off my paint through here. Now I'm going to have to move quickly, so I'll have to stop talking as much. So for this one, I'm going to use black gesso, and I've run out of my Dina Wakley, so I've got a cheap. Oh, Kerry Ann, you're not fussy cutting, are you? Shock me. And I am going to use this, the Alphas one. So I have run out of my Dina Wakley. Oh, you are cleaning your craft room, Alana. Yeah, my Dina Wakley is my favourite black gesso, but I've run out, so I'll have to reorder some of that next time. So what I'm going to do is the, I don't know what the technique's called, but it's where you remove the paint through a stencil. So the opposite, the one we just did before, we put the paint on through the stencil. This one we're going to remove with the stencil. So please don't be shocked when I do this, because it's what you have to do. And the first time I saw someone do this, I was like, oh my God, what is she doing? And I'm not going to do it on the... am I going to do it on the whole thing? I have to think about this before I do it, because it needs to be quick. Just checking how wet my baby wipe is as well, so I might just squeeze a bit of that juice out of the baby wipe, because I don't want it super juicy. So you want a baby wipe, and I've just put ink onto my baby wipe, but that's okay. You want a baby wipe that's not super juicy to do this. And look, I'm just going to go for it. I'm using a big paintbrush, my Art by Marlene. I think this is it's an size 18, so it's one of the big ones. And I'm using black gesso. All right, here we go. It's happening. If you haven't seen this done before, you will be shocked. I was like, oh my God, why is she covering up all that beautiful paint with black? Yeah, it's hilarious. I'd love to see the look on anyone who hadn't seen this face when you do it see it the first time, because I'm sure I looked like a stunned mullet. But it will be worth it. And I've picked a stencil that's quite holdy, if that's what you want to call it. It's got a lot of detail in it, so I'll be pulling most of this back off. Right. I'm going to place that there. That should be okay. So all we do is we pop that on there, and it is, I may have to swap now. Putting my fingers somewhere to hold them is different, so we just give it a bit of a wipe. Now my baby wipe might be a little wet. Now, I've just realised I've done something that I probably shouldn't have. And normally, when you do this technique, you gesso underneath your paint. And I haven't done that. So, what will happen, and see, this is, everyone can learn from my mistake. What will happen is some of my paint may be lifting, and it is a little bit. So I'm being super gentle And I'm going to have to swap baby wipes already because that one's absolutely completely covered in black. But you'll get the gist of what I'm trying to do. This is the joys of Facebook Lives. You can't go back on your mistakes. And you know what? It's only paper and paint. So it's all good. I have a page today that I've done and I don't like it. And it's on the back of one of my other pages. And it is using some of Claire's new stencils and I don't like it. So I'm going to completely go over the whole thing with white gesso and paint it because I've started it, I haven't finished it, and I don't like where it's going, so I'm going to get rid of it and start again. So these things happen. Not all the time, but it happens to the best of us. I'm sure Linda has done that plenty of time. So don't ever throw it away. Just go over it or come back to it later. Sometimes you're just not in the right mood to look at things or get the idea. Come back to it later. I've already come back to mine and I still don't like it, so I'm not gonna keep progressing with it. This is my baby wipes. Yeah, thanks Linda. My baby wipe is super juicy. Funny because normally, you know, when I had a baby, I'd buy baby wipes. I'm like, oh, this is so dry. And now that I don't use baby wipes for my toddler, all the baby wipes I buy, even the cheapies, they're all super juicy. And I don't want them to be. The other thing about some of the fine stencils is that your baby wipe can get a little bit caught in the sharps of it. So I'm not going to keep going with that, but you'll get the gist of how it's supposed to look. And excuse the big white print in the middle, but I stuck my finger on there and that ripped up. But that's okay, we can put something over it. So, you know, that's a great technique to do. I just forgot to do the gesso underneath. And the gesso will give the waterproofing to the page. So the reason that some of the colour has come up from there is because I didn't waterproof underneath. And that's why my fingerprint has lifted the paper and the paint all in one go because I stuck it down on wet gesso. But that technique is, I use it all the time. Really good on art journals, particularly. I've done it on some card backgrounds. Yeah, I do quite like that one, particularly on art journals. Oh my God, that black gesso is everywhere. All right, I'm going to go back to, I'll let that one dry. Ugh, I have to put that aside in a baby wipe. I won't keep you too much longer. Just want to do a couple more things with these backgrounds. And I'm just picking that up off the floor. Don't mind me. And pop this one away. Oh, that's a good idea, Linda. Take him out beforehand. See, I was so prepared with all my products, I didn't even think about my baby wipes. All right, and that black gesso is all over my hands. So, before we move on, I'm going to quickly give a little bit of a hit. These are just a little bit sticky, so they've still got a bit of wetness to them. Much better. Okay, so I have, if you didn't see me do this before, this is just some of, it's Natalie's collage paper. This is the rainbow paint, which I haven't actually used before. I've used some of the other ones, and I'm just trimming off the excess, and I've just glued it onto our tag here with some gel medium. So I'm just, and this squiggly one, again the same. And I'm just going to trim off the bits at the side. And what I'll do later for this one particularly, because I've gone over all the detail on these tags, is I'll use my my little knife to cut out the backs here. And I won't make you watch that because it's like watching someone fussy cut. Carrie Ann would probably like to watch someone fussy cut, but I don't particularly like watching. Anyway, I don't even like fussy cutting. All right, so next thing I'm going to do is get back out my mini stamps. And how am I going for time? I am an hour, so not too bad. All right, so I'm going to use some of my foam stamps and possibly, I'm looking for the, I do have a favourite in the minis, and it's the Script. It is the, I'll fly it over, Kerry, and you can cut it. This mini Script, it's NM75, and it was on the website last I looked, nataliemay.com.au. Sorry, drink break. It's really fine, and I always, every time I stamp it, I do it upside down, so I will get my scrap piece back out. So I'm just going to add a little bit of particularly, well, this one was going to need some colour, but I'm just going to add a little bit of stamping to this one, and I'm going to do it in, I think I might do it in blue, and I'll add the black later. So I don't want to fine, I just want a bit of detail in the background, so I don't want anything fine. So I'm just using my hand. And although you can't read this writing, this script writing, it does have a, you can tell if it's upside down. So I'm just going to go over here. It is so cute. Like, so cute. I'm just going to pop some over there. And a bit over here. And I don't want that edge there. Okay. And just a little bit up there and down there. So it's just a bit of detail in the background. Super, super duper cute. Yeah, favorite, one of my favorites. When I first got it, oh, you know what? It is the bottom of my baby white pack. That's why it's so juicy. When I first got this, it was I went to use it on the live and it was out of stock, and I was like, damn it. And then it came back in. Thank God, because I love it. Love it. The minis are so cute, and they're all little Seth Apter ones, and I really love his stuff. So, yeah, get your hands on them. They're great, and they're great for traveling. So you can just tuck them aside. Not that I've travelled with my stuff yet, because I have to pack too much crap for the kids when I go away. So, but when I come to the creative escape, I will need to pack some. So, super excited about that because that's closer. So we've got a bit of detail here, and then I'm going to add, no, actually, am I going to add my wall paper? I might add my brick wall, and then I might use my stencil. No, I'm not. I'll finish the brick wall later. Okay. See, another joy of Facebook Lives is you change your mind at the drop of a hat. So I'm going back to this, I think it's Pebblecrete or Pebblestone. It's a Dina Wakley stencil anyway. I love it because it's quite detailed. So again, I'm going to go over this, and I have an idea to bring the white in for this one. So I'm just going to line that up so that it looks a little bit straight. And again, I'm just going to get some black paint, and this time I'm going to use I need to restock up on some things because I'm out of essentials. I've got the Dina Wakley black paint. I love my Art by Marlene paint as well because, but I use that a lot as a paint, like a paint pen, and I've run out of that too. So I'm going to have to get a new foam. Just bear with me a sec. I grab out a new makeup sponge. If you haven't seen the packet, this is a Kmart $14 pack. They're just... Oh, that's a good idea, Kerry. An arrow on the back of the stamp. I will do that. Great idea. Oh, this is a super big one. All right. So again, I'm just using acrylic paint, and I'm going to dab through this stencil. So you could do anything underneath this stencil, and you know, you could keep doing stamping. You could do some other, you could put some white through a different stencil and then go over the top. And all it means is that, and now I've been too light-handed, all it means is that when you lift that stencil, it's got even more detail. So I'm just keeping it super simple and quick so I can show you a few different ones tonight. But if you've seen some of the ones that Neve's been doing lately, and I know Linda does super detailed backgrounds as well. Linda's got some, she does layers and layers and layers on hers, and Neve does too. And I have been using the heck out of my big, thick paint pens to do a few little jobs. I actually even did a scrapbook page yesterday. I think it's been, maybe 4 months since I've done a scrapbook page. I've done it for the scrapbook, the journal, the Scrapbooker's Journal magazine that's coming out. So I put a fluoro entry in with a scrapbook page. So you probably won't get too many of those out of me because my scrapbooking mojo is well and truly gone. I more do mixed media scrapbooking pages now, which is great. And there we go. So we've got all that detail underneath. And then to bring that white back in, and I'll just pop that up there. Gonna have to go and scrub all my stencils shortly. So I'm gonna use these foam, I don't know what they're called, they're Scrap Effects foam circles, and I'm gonna use some white paint. So I've got some old white paint here, but I'm just popping some acrylic white paint down. And so I'm just going to spread that out because I'm going to stamp with the paint. So I don't want it to be too thick, but I want to bring that white into it. Now, the little one has the numbers on it, and the bigger one has the letters. So you can just, another way to get the paint on your foam stamps is to brayer it on. I'm just going to use my finger. And I don't want it, I'm not going to use the whole thing, so I'm going to pop a bit there. And that one's upside down. I know I did that, but you can't see them anyway. And then I'm going to use the big one. And to clean these, you just literally wipe them off with a baby wipe. They're great because they just store so little and flat. You can just pop them in it. I've actually got a few of them in a Ziploc bag, and I don't keep my stamps like that, but it just works so well. So another one. And I'm going to double that one up. And just wipe it off. They're really good price point, these Scrap Effects stamps too. You know, I think that jigsaw one that I've got there was like $3. Just really good for mark making. But you do want to make sure that you get your paint off your stamps, because being acrylic paint, it will dry hard. All right, I think I'm just going to go back in here again with the little one and double up there too. So that's giving us a bit of, oh, did that the wrong way. Just turn that around. Good thing is you can see where you're stamping with them too, so you can just go over the top. And I've got a little bit of paint there, which I'll just wipe off. All right. Now I have a whole heap of, I don't like to waste paint, as you can tell. I have a whole heap of white paint here. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to bring that other mess up that I made before. And I'm going to make a bit of a wash, and I'm going to flick it onto these two. So this one, it was quite wet because of the baby wipe, but it's actually really nearly dry now. And I will put some sort of focal point over that later. And I will probably go around those letters with my white paint pen to add a bit of more interest to that background. Now I'm just going to move this out the way. Oh no, that's rubbish. That's fine. So if you haven't got one of these, I don't even know where I got it from. I've had it for a while. It's a really good, I think they're a fan brush. I think I got it from Natalie, like one of my first orders from her. So that was a while ago. But it gives a really good splatter. She definitely doesn't have them anymore, but I'm sure if you were after a fan brush, she could get it. Nothing like a good paint splatter. We all love splatters. And if you haven't done a splatters page in the challenge for the month, that is how you could add your, with the right colours of course, your splatters. Okay, so one more to go. I will finish these up off camera, but you know, it's nice to get messy with you guys and have a chat. It's been a while. So and I think I've nearly run out of baby wipes, so that's why it's so juicy. So I will pop these ones down on the floor to dry. But super simple, easy thing to do. These ones, that beautiful paint collage paper, gorgeous. Think of that on a background, on a card, or you know, a layout. a journal layout or even a scrapbook layout. You could do that same background and pop some cards, pop some what do you call them? Photos, you know, those things that we use, photos over the top. All right. The reason I use this one is because I don't need to do as much stamping on this one because it's got such a detailed background. And because it's got such a detailed background, I don't want to cover it up with paints completely. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to use the Art by Marlene paints because they're a bit sorry, I'm just trying to put my other paints out of my way. They're a bit see-through. So I'm going to pull out some colours and let's go with the fluoros. Let's have a look at the fluoros. So this is the neon set, sorry. Oh, I haven't had such painty hands in a while, so this is great. All right, so I'm going to use all those colours on here and I'm just going to put them on with my fingers because, you know, they're already dirty, so why not dirty them up a bit more? Mosaic Cobblestone. Thanks, Kerry. I knew it was Mosaic something. So that stencil I just used was the Mosaic Cobblestone, and it's gorgeous, and you can have it going either way as well. So I'm just going to pop a little bit more paint on here. And I'm hoping that it will dry quick enough that I can do a bit of mark making with the pens afterwards. So these colours, that was the Wow. Boom is the neon orange. We got Hot Pink. Oh, I was going so well with them being not clogged. I don't have a storage spot to put I really love the Art by Marlene paint holder, but I don't have anywhere to put it because I work from home some days, and my second monitor, when I craft, I have to push it to the back of my table so that it's easily accessible when I work from home. So mine stay in their box, sitting upright, but they're still in their box. But nothing a little needle in the top doesn't fix. It would just be nice when I was doing a Facebook Live if they didn't clog. But that's okay. This is the reality of them. The pink is funky. Oh, and that one didn't clog, so beautiful. And then we have the punk, which is the purple. Hi, Emma. Saw you pop up there. You just joined us in time for the fluoros. On the last one, you'll have to go back and I'll pull up the ones that we've done when I finish this one. And that's my second clog. All right. I find the ones that I use more are the ones that clog more. All right. Yep, same, Kerry, lid side down. All right, this one didn't unclog quite as easily. And the reason, like, they're very good quality paints, so don't get deterred by the fact that they clog. It's just because they've got a fine, really fine tip on them. So, you know, it's bound to happen. But I will, at the end of this tag, I'm going to show you how to use those fine tips to your advantage. And Natalie's one of the one of very few retailers that sell the Art by Marlene individually in colours. Obviously, she doesn't have them all in all the time, but you can get some of them individually. Otherwise, they're also in the packs. Obviously, some colours sell out quicker than others. So I'm just using my finger and I'm just rubbing on the colour in certain patches. And look at that, because they're translucent. Oh, is that the word I need? Translucent? I always get that mixed up. I'm still learning my my paint terms. Translucent means see-through, doesn't it? I hope so. Anyway, because it's see-through, you can still see the detail of that collage paper. And this is the Natalie May collage paper. So have a look under Natalie Products by Natalie May on the website, which of course is Natalie May, www.nataliemay.com.au. All right, get a bit of that on there. And that's drying super quick, so that's great. Just overlapping a little. Sorry, I think I missed a comment there. Where'd my comments go? Yes, thanks, Linda. I was right. See-through is, yes, translucent. Okay. Use up all that paint there. Onto the, what's this one? The Funky. Ooh, that one's good. Look at that. Love that. So did anyone get anything exciting for Christmas? Obviously, anyone who got a Natalie May scrapbooking voucher, that's exciting. And I got my Tim Holtz Juvie lacquer here, the matte that I've been wanting for a while. But we got some money from my in-laws, which was lovely, because we bought us and the kids a inflatable outdoor spa, and we are loving it. Yeah, it's because I've got such a big age gap with my kids. I've got a 12, almost 13-year-old and an almost 4-year-old. Like, I can't buy a little kiddie pool because it'll be too small for my oldest. And I can't buy, you know, a big deep pool to chuck in the backyard on these hot days because it'll be too big for the little one. So, yeah, we saw the spa. My sister got the spa, actually, and we are loving it. It's a great size for us all. All right. Now, I'm just going to be really careful here because I've got green and purple. So I think I'm just going to add a bit more. I'll put a bit of that orange on here. Now, the one thing I didn't plan for these pages was what my focal point was going to be, because sometimes I just don't want to think about that and I just want to do a messy background. So I can go through my stamps or my Art by Marlene die cuts. I use those a bit after I've done the background. So, you know, I just wanted to get messy tonight. So, and I'm just popping that green in there. And I'm going to be super careful near that purple not to make anything too terrible looking. And I will be cutting out a bit of that later out of that corner. All right, I'm just going to top a bit more of that green in there. All right, doesn't have to be too neat because I'm going to go back in with a little bit more of my mini stamps. I still haven't used my little, this one, but I just don't think it's the night for it tonight. I'm going to go back in with my mini stamps, and now I have a pile of junk over my mini stamps here. So I've got my Seth Apter Paper Artsy mini stamps. So I think I'm going to put over the top. I think I'm going to use this numbers. And these don't have names, so they're NM22. So I'm calling it the numbers. So I'm just going to, actually before I do that, I'm going to do something else. Another mini one. I'm just going to use this one, which is NM23, and it's a bit of a grunge numbers. It's small numbers. I'll show you the picture there, with a bit of a distress, and there's no pattern to it. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to use some of my paint again with this one, and I'm just going to cover up a bit of the lines there. So I might go with the hot pink, sorry, the funky, and probably the purple, just to overlap some of the lines. And I do like to do this where you can, this one's not too bad because you can't, it's not as bad in seeing the difference, the line between one color and another. But where you don't have a background like this, it's good to just go over the line. And so what I do is I get the end of my stamp and just picking up a bit of the numbers, just a little bit of the color that I want, and I'm just going to stamp half over this pink and half over the orange. Now it might not look much here. Where can I do it that you can see? Got a bit of paint going through there. So I'll do it over here onto the yellow. So it just, and yeah, I mean, you can't even read the numbers, but it just creates, and this may not be the best stamp to use it for. Let me try a different one. All right. I'll use this word. Actually, I have used this before. I've used this one before. This one is the EM54, and I like to call this one the zigzag line because it's the closest thing to sewing I'll do. So again, this is translucent ink, so you can just pop it over there. It just hides the lines, so it creates a bit of interest. And I'm running out of paint. Bit more paint over here. So it just covers up the seam between the two colours by adding a bit of interest with a stamp. All right, so again, making sure you get that paint off the stamp. And I am going to use that leftovers in a minute, and I'll just do the same thing with the punk. So you might be able to see this one a bit better, but we'll see. So just see, there you go. So just see, it brings, you half overlap the color that you're going into, and it just brings it out, making it look like it was part of the plan all along. Sorry, I didn't mean to spin that around. It just went, but we'll go with it. All right. It's also not as visible because of the detailed background. So I'm just going to get rid of that punk. And I'm going to get my fan brush again, add a bit of water to this, make a little bit of a hot pink wash, because, you know, why not have some hot pink splatters? I was just looking on the floor to see if I could add hot pink splatters to my other ones, but they're not quite, wouldn't quite go because they're not neon. So I think I've just splattered half my iPad. But there you go. All right, so what I might do is quickly dry that. Give it a little hit with the heat gun because I want to then add some dots. All right, so I'm nearly done. And how long have I been going? Oh, I'm a little bit over. Okay, I'll be quick. So I think I'll use this one this time. Again, I'm going to come in with my black. No, I'm not going to use that one. I want one that's, I'm going to go to my, actually, I'll go back to this one here. I didn't want to cover up too much of that. So this one has more of the covered spots than that one does. That one I'd be losing more of what I've just created than I wanted to. So I'll come back to this one. This is the Connected Dots stencil from Dina Wakley. One of my favorite Dina Wakley stencils. So again, just using the makeup brush, going through there. And I will finish up with a bit of playing with the Art by Marlene paints as pens, as paint pens. It gives a bit of texture. And this one's got so much going on in the background. I might not even add a focal point. I just might add some words. All right, I'm trying to get the last of it off my sponge without having to put more paint on. That will do. Just so effective. It's just awesome. Honestly, one of my favorites. But you can do it with any stencil. The hex stencil, Natalie May's hex stencil is a good one to do that too. All right, so I'm just going to pop this into my tub of water and wipe that up. And that's pretty much dry. So that's that. All right, so what I did on my page, and I'll bring the page up again, my art journal page for those who didn't see it, but just because we're looking at a certain part of it. Nope, not that one. This one. So to add a bit of texture to this page, you can see those shiny bits there. That's actually the diamond paint from the Art by Marlene. So that was another way. I just literally, bit of a circle, using it as a pen, and it's given that nice little effect to the page. And it's shimmery. It's nice and shimmery. So we could do that with the special effects paint pens, and do I want to do that, or do I want to use the neons? How about I use both? So what I might do is I might use the black. So this is a black glitter. Best way to use glitter. Yeah, it is too cute to cover, Linda. Or numbers, yeah. So what am I going to do first? This is thinking on the spot at its best. So I could even do 2023 or 2023. Look at that. All right, what I'm going to do is get my white up by Marlene pen, which I think it's getting close to empty. So I'm going to use this as a pen, and I'll just make sure it's not clogged, and of course it is. All right. So because of the fine tip, you can use it as a pen. And what's different in using this as a pen as opposed to your paint pens is that this can leave dimension because it sits up and it will dry puffy. So let's go with 2. And if you didn't want to do this with your hand, you could do it through a stencil. I think I've clogged again. Yep. This one's getting close to the end. So I'm getting a bit of cloggage happening. But as you see, how puffy this is here, that's how it will dry. So it gives a bit of height and dimension to your page, which is kind of cute. So let's go to 0. And you know what? I haven't done anything yet with 2023 on it. So maybe I'll start a tag book, and this will be the start of my tag book. And I will go back and have a look at the comments, but I'm concentrating. I'd hate to write the wrong year on here. I'm sure that's bound to happen. I'm still scrapbooking my 2021 album. So that's, I bet you any money I put 2022 on it. All right. Now the key is you have to let that dry naturally, but that's okay. That brings a bit of white into the page. And I will bring, and actually what I will do while I've got it, to bring a bit more white in. Now I'm just going to turn this around because I don't want to touch that. I'm going to dot. And when you dot with these pens, they give a little drop, like a, it's got like a little tip on it. And that will dry like that also. And off the screen, I will also go around those black outlines of the connected dots stencil with a white pen. Just to bring back those contrasting colours. There is a lot of black on this, being you've got black in the background and then the black in the stencil over the top. So bringing back a bit of white into it is also good. And I'm going to be cutting some of that out, so that was lucky. So that's going to be cut out there, so that won't go all the way around there. And these shimmer ones as well. So, you know, I could go around this one down here. I'll just make sure that's not clogged. Oh, no, that's not clogged. You know, bit around there. Doesn't look much now, but wow, do these dry beautifully. So that's got just a bit of black glitter in it. And I'm not looking for anything perfect, just a little bit here, a little bit there. And it will dry raised as well. If you don't have these in your collection and you like a bit of bling or just a bit of dimension easily to a page, get these in your life. They are the first glitter range that Marlene has brought out, and they are delightful. Oh, and I'll do a bit there. There we go. So simple and easy backgrounds, utilizing your collage papers. And again, that's the Natalie May collage paper. And I will go through what we've done tonight before I sign off. So Natalie May collage paper underneath, applied with gel medium. We then used the Neon Art by Marlene paints because they are translucent and we wanted to keep that pattern in the background with our finger. Then used a bit of stamping to overlap the edges. Then we put the connected dots Dina Wakley stencil over the top and sponged through some black Dina Wakley paint. And then we have decorated with the Art by Marlene white paint straight out of the pen, and the black glitter pen as well for that one. And the other ones that we have done, which I will finish later. So this one was the rainbow paint collage paper put on with gel medium. We've then done some tone on tone stamping here and in the background there with some of the mini stamps by Paper Artsy, Seth Apter. We've then gone over the top with the Mosaic Cobblestone Dina Wakley stencil, which is available on the Natalie May website. And we have then gone and used our Scrap Effects foam circle stamps, which are also on the website, with some white paint, and then put some splatters. And I will add a quote to that one next. This one was a bit of a fail, but in the end, it's okay. If you do this effect, make sure you gesso first, which is what I didn't do. We then put acrylic paints over the top of that in our colours. Then we pop the black gesso on and your stencil and wipe off the black gesso through your stencil to get that effect. Yes, so the gesso first is important to avoid your paint lifting. Then I've added some white paint splatters to that, and I will cover that up with something else, and I will outline those letters with a white paint pen. And the first one we did was the recreation of that page. Again, we used straight on to the Art by Marlene tag with our acrylic paints, just with a dry brush technique. We've then done tone on tone stamping with coloured archival ink using our Paper Artsy mini stamps again through there. Again, we've used the connected dots Dina Wakley stencil, this time with some shimmer black paint through the top, and I have shown you that what it looks like to add that white on there, and I'll finish that off later. So thank you very much for joining me. We've created 4 paper tags or backgrounds or starts of paper tags. I hope you have a go. Yeah, it does look galactic, doesn't it, Linda? Thank you. I hope you all have a go. Thank you for joining me. Thank you, Kerry Ann. Thanks, Leslie. Go back and watch and have a go yourself. Thank you again, everybody, and we'll be seeing you soon. Thank you. Bye.